These women come in because they're the CEO of their business, they're the CEO of their household, and so they're doing everything. They're constantly outsourcing themselves to their kids, their business, their husband, all these things. It's like, what are you doing for yourself? And that's like the number one thing is like we have to take care of ourselves. It's the mask. Put on your mask first, and then everything else falls into place.
Hey, I'm Taylor Davis. Welcome to Wildly Satisfied. I hope you enjoy the show. Welcome. We are in a new series on the Wildly Satisfied media platform with my beautiful friends Hannah and Darci, which they'll introduce themselves in just a sec. I will start by saying in this season, obviously, we were talking about the next level of feminine leadership. We're talking about navigating a nervous system and having a new way of running our businesses and running our lives. And these two people who I absolutely love, I have totally imprinted on. They're not going anywhere in my life. Never. They are amazing body workers, massage therapists, emotional workers, psychedelic integration specialists. Like, there are so many things that I could call them. And we're going to talk a lot about navigating a new way of regulating your nervous system and really creating safety in the body, especially as feminine leaders, but in general. And a little bit about human design as well, because we love masculine and feminine, we love human design. And as someone who, they are both projectors, so you have a whole room of projectors right now. I know.
Watch out.
We love geeking out on so many things. And so in this series, in this conversation, I really want them to be able to share their beautiful perspectives on what they see in different human design types in terms of how their body's showing up, different sides of the body, and what we hold in our body and in our emotions and all the things. And so we're going to dive a little bit into that. And we'll start with this episode because this is going to be a couple different episodes, but we'll start this one really about creating safety in the nervous system. And I know that a lot of people, we've talked about that in this season. What I really love about these two individuals is they work with the bodies and with the emotions of the people who have regulated and dysregulated nervous systems, from the beginning to the end, the people who have a lot of money to the people who have no money. So it's literally the entire end of the spectrum. And I love being able to see what they physically and emotionally see in their clients. So I can't wait to dive into that. They've changed my life. So really excited.
Thank you.
I would love for you guys to just introduce yourself, your name, and what you love doing.
Yeah.
Anyone?
Would you like me to go first?
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you for that introduction, Taylor. It's felt really good to have you see us and what we're doing, because sometimes we're just like, oh, we're just these two little body workers, and you've really helped us realize the impact and influence that we have with other people. So my name's Hannah, and Hannah Barton, and I'm a body worker, an energy worker. I think I'm kind of one of those jack of all trades, but anything dealing with the body. And my body of work has expanded over the last 24 years, of really from going from a trainer to a massage therapist to an energy healer, a mother, all the things. And so I just really geek out and nerd out on all things body and really health and wellness, but not in just one lane. And so it's been really fun to just evolve and grow with my work with people, and then being able to partner with you has been awesome too.
Hey, partner in all the ways.
Yeah.
Yes, they're a beautiful couple as well, which I love.
Yay.
Yeah. And
Well, my name is Darci Barton, and it's always hard to describe what I do, because I feel like it's different every time somebody walks in the room. I do feel, like I'm a body worker, massage therapist, do energy work. Honestly, I just feel like I'm a channel, and I'm divinely guided when somebody comes into work with me, and we just kind of see what is needed when they come in. I've always wanted to help people, work with people. I actually have my master's degree in social work, and had the ambition to be a mental health therapist, and realized that it was not what I wanted to do. I get overwhelmed even thinking about doing that. But realizing that's really what I do right now.
Yeah.
But I get to put my hands on bodies, and I think that in and of itself is healing for people, is just having touch. And so, I think I'm always excited to work the next day because sometimes things happen that I didn't even see coming. So
I love that.
Yeah.
I think you guys too, the one thing that I mean, there's many things I love about you, but the one thing that I really do love is bringing all of it's not just psychedelics. It's not just, or like talking about one thing. It's not just, hey, I'm a massage therapist. It's not just the one thing. You guys have so many different modalities that you use because you're a whole person and you need multiple things to be able to actually function. So you're able to bring those things in a way that I've never seen before. So I really love that too. Yeah. I'm actually really excited. We're just going to have a conversation around the nervous system and creating safety. And I want to just hear what you guys see a lot when people come in for body work. Because I know from my own perspective, as well as like what we talk about, is people will come in for a massage because that's what you're most known for. But then when they come in, it's like, holy shit, it's a whole other world.
like
There's
that
so
wasn't
many
a
things.
massage.
That wasn't a massage. That was like a complete recalibration of everything I am. And so I would love to hear like what you guys see a lot, whether it's in the body, like, we see a lot of really, I'm not gonna say messed up, but really tense shoulders. And we see a lot of people grapple with this and this. Like, what are some of those things that you see when people come in?
Yeah, I think both of us, like our work can be similar because we influence one another quite a bit. Like she's my favorite person to work with and to get work from and those things. But I feel like we get a lot of people that come and their nervous system is being pulled in like 20 different directions, whether it's entrepreneurs or just 9-to-5ers or mothers, fathers, whatever. And they're kind of all over the place and they know that their body has pain and it doesn't feel good. And whether they've gone the more conventional route of like going to a doctor and taking muscle relaxers or those type of things, sometimes massage and body work is the first place that they go, sometimes it's the last. And so they come in with all this stuff going on, just wanting to feel better in their body. And the first thing we do is we sit down and we have a conversation. It's not just like, okay, what's going on? Get on the table. And so you're all over the place and we're trying to find out where you're at so we can meet you there and then take you where you want to go. Whether it's feeling heard and seen, whether it's, you have this shoulder stuff that's been going on for a long time and nothing helps. We ask a lot of questions like, when did it start? What's going on in your life? Things like that. And I think that somewhat sets us apart as healers and body workers is because it's less transactional and it's more conversational. And I hear in her room, especially, like we'll go into a session at the same time and it's like 20 minutes. Someone is just sitting and talking to you because you're such a great space holder and listener. And some people just need that and they need to like empty their head and they need to like clear the noise of the drive over and the kids and those things so that they really can like bring you back to your body. And there's very few body workers that I've been to that take the time to do that, and like the direction that your healing can go is so much different. Like, do you want to add on to that?
Yeah, no, I think that covers a lot of it. It's silly because I find people even just finding our studio can be overwhelming for people. So it's
I got lost the first time. I was like, I'm in the back.
It's Google Maps or Apple Maps. Or
so when like if people are a few minutes late, like I always go to the door waiting for them because I know they're going to come in like spinning and frantic because they're late. And so I love just being able to be like, hey, take a, like before you even
it's a breath of arrival.
Take a breath, you're good, perfect timing, it's all going to be okay. And just in that moment, just really assuring them that, you're where you need to be, you're where you need to be right now. And so it's like those little things. But I think really allowing people to have the space. I also think that creating the space, I think that Hannah and I in our studio, we've been very intentional with how we create space. And so the minute people walk into our door, they can feel this,
they take a deep breath.
Safety and be like, oh my God, it feels so good in here.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the first step, literally, of them coming in and being like, oh, okay, I am in the right space. Like, I don't even know what's about to happen.
Well, and we're there to
like
meet them, and it's like, I got you. I think that's what so many men and women, but more women, it's that feeling of, especially women in leadership, of like, okay, like I do all these things for all these people, but like, who has my back? Who's got me? And so when you walk in and we're there with a smile or your hug or whatever it is, like sometimes that like hugging you and saying hello, people will like have a little bit of a meltdown. So it's like, oh my gosh, I've been waiting for this. So
I feel that. randomly arrived last time I got a massage, and I just walked in, and Darci was just like opened up her arms, and I was just like, I needed this. And I just started crying, and that's not happened to me very often.
Yeah.
So being able to just be like, oh, I don't have to be anything besides in this moment right now, and allow myself to receive and release and recalibrate and everything else that needs to happen in that moment. And so I love that. When you guys work with, I mean, whether it's women or men, like, are there anything, obviously dysregulated nervous systems and things like that, but are there anything that you notice a lot, like in their bodies or in their energy or in their emotions that are kind of a pattern between everyone?
Like this day and age, people have heard of like tech neck or whatever, because we're all on our phones and computers, and so there's a lot of like that neck and shoulder tension, or people, it's like, this is where I hold it all the time. And that gives us the invitation to like dive in deeper, because like this is throat chakra area, and it's like, where, are you not being heard? Are you not speaking your truth? I like to do a lot of body mapping. And so that's something that was introduced to me through the Condor approach, through Ta and Cole Whitty, and realizing like where the chakras are in developmental ages. And so this gets like really deep in the woods of it, or in the weeds of it.
Yeah.
But recognizing that like, if you have acute pain, like a neck ache because you slept weird, like that's something that's usually physical, like, okay, you have shortened muscles, we can work with that. But if it's something that's been going on for more than like 12 weeks and it's chronic, to us that's a cue that there's an underlying like emotional issue. So if it's like lower back sacrum area, we're looking at sacral chakra, and that's like creativity, expression, playfulness. Like, so many women aren't having fun.
Yeah, that's true.
And so it can help us guide, like a lot of what we do is just guiding. It's like asking questions or offering insights based on what people are telling us. And so I would say for me right now with a lot of my clients, it's like low back, hip stuff, and then it's like neck and shoulders. Is that kind of with you?
Well, I mean, I'll come at it at a different angle, because it's the physical, but a lot of what the people, and honestly, I work with mostly women. It's interesting. That's kind of who is drawn to me. And I think, I'm trying to figure out why that is, but I know
why. I know why.
We all know why.
I know why.
Tell us why.
Because you are incredibly safe. Like, and I mean that, and like, I think you're both very safe. There's this natural, like, and I've said this to you guys before, but Hannah, when I'm with you, I'm like, oh my God, like, I just want to be like snuggled and like, like kind of like, it's very mothering energy. It's very, not that you're my mom or anything, but it's very much
nurturing.
like, it's just nurturing, and it's filling me back up, and it's this softness. And I feel like with you, Darci, when I go in, and I don't know why it's just naturally, my body naturally did it, but I was like, oh my God, I feel safe. I can take it. I can just kind of breathe and I can release whatever I need to release. And then I'm back to like myself again. And I think for what I see with you a lot of the time is like, you're like, everything is welcome here. Like, it's good. And there's like, I know you've got me.
Yeah.
Like you feel like a tree in like the vast desert of just shit.
The oak tree.
The oak tree, you're just solid, where it's like, I'm the ocean waves, and sometimes I'm the desert, and sometimes I'm like, I've got nothing left, and that's when I'm the desert. And then I'm like, but there's the tree, and it's Darci. I just
gotta make it to the tree.
You just gotta make it to the tree. And so, and then I feel like, with Hannah, I'm able to be like, oh, okay, I feel cricky, and you're like, cool, we're just gonna flow that back out. Like, it's a very different energy. But continue what you were saying. What are you saying?
Well, just so you know, that's why I love Hannah too, is she is such a good nurturer and takes such good care of people the minute that they are in her presence.
Thank you.
So, so I see a lot of, it's almost like it's women who are business owners and then also mothers. And also, I see a lot of women who feel like their husbands are not available emotionally because they're so in their work. And so it's like this woman I saw yesterday, it's the same thing. She has her own business, and then also she's feeling lack of connection with her husband because he's so in his, but then he has resentment towards her because she makes it look easy, but it's not. But
She's
it's like
fun.
but so it's this whole thing, but I find myself like women who just, it's almost like they just need to be seen and recognized for what they're doing. And so, and then it shows up in and I think you explained it well, just feeling safe enough to kind of fall apart.
Yeah.
Because maybe they don't have that at home. And
Yeah.
it's like, I'm not a threat.
No.
You know what I mean?
no.
Like,
Well, it's very much like, it's kind of like lay your burden at my feet type of thing. And like, I've got you, and we're just gonna, you're just gonna be here, and we can talk, or I can, we can go into massage and move energy or any, so it's like, it's an interesting feeling. Yeah.
Well, and that's what I realized a lot is like, here people are booking massage appointments, right? And so I have this need to feel like, okay, I need to make sure they're gonna get a massage. And so that's what has helped me to want to like totally restructure how we put what we're available for, what appointments, because now it's just booking time with me, because we're going to navigate it when you come in. Like you can have, when you book that session, you can have an idea of what you want to happen, but the day people come in, it can be totally different. And so it's just like Hannah's saying earlier, meeting them where they're at and not having any expectation. It's just allowing whatever happens in that flow and in that container to just take place, and trust that.
Yeah, I love it. And I love that you guys work with like energy and emotion and body work and so many other modalities. But I think the thing that's most fascinated me and something that I didn't know, and we're like in a bubble. I mean, obviously, like we're in the, self-development world, and people listening to this might not be. And so one thing that really struck me, and then I learned a little bit about it, and then I came to you guys, and you guys actually had like the techniques around it. But how emotions can physically manifest in your body. And I don't think that's talked about enough.
Yeah.
Especially, and so like, what do you guys see when it comes to, because obviously there's like you said, Hannah, it's like, oh, okay, you cricked your neck sleeping. That's a physical thing.
Yeah.
Versus what's in an underlying emotional thing that might come up, or like working with the energy of the chakra systems or things like that. And so,
so sometimes there's like, the more you do this work, like I've been in body work for about a little over 12 years now. And so some of it is just intuitive, and knowing that it's like a lot of right shoulder stuff for people. For some people it's unexpressed anger, and that's just, that's reps, right? Like years of doing it. Lower back stuff sometimes is not, like security, safety, things like that. And so sometimes like we go through these experiences all through our life, and we have adverse experiences where maybe we experience the emotion of like jealousy, right? But we couldn't express that. And our bodies are these amazing sponges that keep track of everything. And so sometimes our body will just like put that somewhere, and especially areas where you've had like injuries or surgeries or things like that before, that's like a weakened or vulnerable part of your body. We like to use the analogy of like chainmail, and it's like a little chink in the chainmail where something can get through. And so when you have something that happens over and over and over again, sometimes leaning into different energy work and modalities where you're releasing trapped emotions can actually, like I can sit there and hit a trigger point, and then when I see you again in 2 or 4 weeks, it can be reactivated, and that could be how you sleep or how you work or whatever. But also if we can get to what's underlining, like underneath it. And so that's where I'll use different techniques with like tuning forks, or like a lot of my clients have emotional releases on the table because they feel safe enough to, but it's also like taking the time to ask the questions. And for me, I do that where if it is a trigger point or something that they're like, that's the spot, and I'll ask questions like whether it's somatically, like, what does it feel like? Is it hot? Is it electric? Is it dull? Is it a color? A lot of people, it's like, oh my gosh, that's like orange or red or whatever it is. And then I'll invite them like to imagine bringing a different color, a different sensation in. For some people, it brings up an emotion. They're just like, or they'll think of a time in their life. Like I had this woman, she just started laughing, and I thought it was because she was ticklish, and she's like, no, like when my kid was little, this just popped into my head, and he jumped off like at a playground, and she caught him, but she hit her like side on something and like fractured a rib or something like that. At that time in her life, she was no contact with her son, and this like created this whole emotional thing for her of like realizing, no, I really did show up for my kid, and I did do those things. But it's that time and space to be able to let somebody have whatever imagery or have whatever comes through, and there's not a guide to it. It's just like very intuitive of what comes through. And I'll use the analogy of like the hollow bone a lot of times, and I know a lot of energy workers use that of like, I'm just here, my higher self, your higher self, they're all connecting, and the work is moving through me for whatever you need. And Darci works this way as well. But even how it moves through us is quite different. And so just it's being curious and creative with how you're working with somebody, and each person is so different. And so there's not like a formula to it, but once we release those emotions and all of a sudden like their shoulder, like that issue that's been plaguing them for years, they're just like, yeah, it just hasn't come back.
I feel that because I had a pain in between, since I was little, I've had a pain in between my shoulder blade and my spine, like literally right there at the curve. And it would just be like a stabbing pain for so long.
Stabbing, yes.
Just it was literally like, and then you kind of want to like dig in, and you're like, why is this not going away? And I have been to chiropractors. They're like, oh yeah, you're out of alignment. That it will come back in like a week. And I have been to massage therapists. I have done like the machine gun, massage gun. It is practically. I've done all those things, and it always came back. And then I moved to Austin. It was gone for a while, and then I went and saw certain family members. It came back, and then out of nowhere it like flared up again. And I remember going into a session with you, Darci, where you were like, there's like a dagger in your back, and I never told you anything about this pain, and you're like, yeah, it's right here. And I'm like, oh my god, you can't hide anything with them either. It just comes out. So.
Well, and just to be clear, it was an energetic dagger,
not a real one. Yes. Well, but I was like, oh my god, because ever since you've done that, I don't have it anymore. And so it was a very much, and I also like, I've had so many instances with you guys where I think like the last time I remember having one with Hannah where I had just started my menstrual cycle.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I feel very gooey.
I just need to be cocooned.
And so it's like the weighted blanket and all the things, and I was just able to really like nourish myself, and I felt like the rest of my menstrual cycle was amazing, which I usually have really bad menstrual cycles. And then I had another one with you, Darci. I think it was this last time where I was like, I don't even know what I need. It's just there. And I could literally feel as you were like pushing down my back, it's like you were scraping energy away. Like it wasn't, like it was kind of like a paint roller where it's like, oh yeah, okay, I'm just gonna like roll down your back, and you felt the energy move out. Or like one of those little gel packets. That's what, just like moving gel packets moving. Like, that's not mine.
I'm like totally picturing that. That's like some ASMR stuff right there.
I know what it is. And so it's interesting to see how your body stores emotions and stores energy and things that aren't even yours too. I've learned that a lot as well. Being like, oh, and being able to distinguish, like, that's not mine. This is someone else's. Oh, this is what's happening in the collective right now versus, and being able to detach from that too. I think that's really important, because if you're not aware of how your body speaks to you and how it moves and how it feels underneath everything, you can't go, oh, like I'm in a lot of pain today. It's like, but is that yours? Versus like what is actually yours?
Oh, for sure. Well, and I, like you saying that just makes me think of like a little bit of like when I'm working, I feel like honestly, because once we go in a session, like I love that you're so specific and you can get people to engage with their bodies in session, and you can be like, what's the color? I don't work like that because that kind of messes up my flow. I like to just totally, almost like I just am the channel and I check out. But I do feel like energetically, a lot of our dysregulation is that we're outsourcing our energy to all these people throughout the day, the grocery store person, the guests, attendant, whatever, like all these things, employees, friends, partners. And so we're outsourcing, right? And so our energy is all out here. And so if you're not in your own energy, then you're kind of like, kind of spiraling almost but then also you're taking other people's energy on. So a practice I've gotten like really good at is really at the end of the day just like sending energy that's not mine, doesn't belong to me, back to where it goes, and then calling all my energy back. And I think in sessions, that's kind of what I help people do, is I help people pull, like scrape the energy that's not theirs off, and then call in all of their energy so that they're whole and complete and fully embodied in themselves, So
you're like an intergalactic snow shovel. That's what it is. It's just like, and you can see the driveway again. That's what it is. I feel like I love the energy and emotion and body work. Like we've just talked a lot about it. I love the fact that we've been talking about what people come to you for, and you guys dove a little bit into that. I feel like, let's see, we just ended with sending energy back to yourself. You want to dive a little bit into like the masculine and feminine and like what you guys see on different sides type of thing? Or?
Yeah, well, and I think we could talk about safety more too, because like all of this, when you're in a dysregulated state, you know, and that's like away from ease, right? And like part of getting back into ease, back into regulation is safety. And sometimes we outsource things, right? And we're like, okay, I need this person, this, but a lot of it is like being in a space where you feel safe so that you can come back to yourself, so you can come back home. And so it's like, but how do you do that, right? Like, how do you find the right people or the right practitioners or whoever to like help you feel that way? And that's where I think the shift is starting to happen with energy work and body work and things like that, is you're getting more and more entrepreneurs or solopreneurs or whatever that are recreate, like nobody taught us how to do this. This is just like, you know, trial and error and practice and intuition, but also being able to create the business and the model that we wish existed for us. And so I think a lot of like things to consider when you're going to get body work, like is it somebody, or you're going to get energy work, I'll use both of those. Is it somebody who's taking time to get to know you? What's their intake process like? Because for us, there's an intake that you fill out, and that's letting you know that we're thinking ahead and we're wanting to know what you're showing up with, even if you show up completely differently. And for someone like me, an intake is very important when I go to another practitioner. So if I book a massage somewhere, because I still go and find and try, and there's not an intake process, it's like, how do you even know what I'm showing up with? You don't know any of my allergies. You don't know, you know, what surgeries or things that I've had. And so like safety starts even before people come in to see us. And so as a consideration, you know, when you're going to go work with somebody, like, are they doing a phone intake? Are they saving time for that type of stuff? Because that subconsciously builds safety, because there's considerations like already in place. Some people don't care about that. Like, I don't think, we primarily work with women, but we do get like the husband or the, you know, someone that finds us. I find that a lot of men don't care about that as much, because they have this idea of what like massage body work is.
Yeah.
And so, you know, their intake forms are usually the most sparse. And then you start to work on them and they have a huge incision on their back from a surgery and you're like, what's that? You know?
Well, I think that's also, like, as you're saying it, what's beautiful about that is like, that is a defining difference between men and women, is that women have to think about safety first, and men are just like, oh yeah. Like, no, it's just naturally there, right?
Yes.
And so it's funny that even shows up in
the intake. Oh,
like,
absolutely.
Oh my goodness. I didn't even think about that.
Well, and it's much more, I do think, at least my like male clients, like I do attract more men that do want to be able to drop in and have the conversation, or you're kind of like guiding them to like what's possible. And we do work on a lot of couples where maybe you'll work with the wife, I'll work with the husband, or they switch. And it's even for us to find like hearing her perspective and his perspective. And I'm just like, I could see why that shows up in his body this way, or vice versa. And so it's kind of fun for us, but it is, I find a lot of the male counterparts to female clients, like they are a little bit more aloof to what's going on in the dysregulation in their wife or what have you. And so it's fun, and it's kind of an honor to be able to guide them to like what's possible or considerations. And so it's like coaching behind the scenes without them really realizing it.
I love too, I feel like I'm just like getting hits as you guys are talking, but I'm like, I love too that in a way for the men that you're supporting, you're helping them to drop into their body rather than just being all, and we all know with masculine and feminine, like in general, in our, right? So that it's masculine is all very heady. It's very, it's logic and it's thought and it's all those things. So even for the masculine man, you're able to be like, hey, let's drop into your feminine a little bit. Let's get into your body. Let's get into your emotions. Let's get into like, and that's a very beautiful thing to be able to give men.
Well, and it's okay to be touched and to be taken care of and nurtured, and to not be sexual, and to not be and lead to any relationship or anything. It's like, this is what safe feminine energy feels like as well. And that's a really cool space to be in too.
I feel like with, I love that you guys are able to work on men and women, see the differences inside the different nervous systems. If you had to, because we're going to go into other things in the other episodes, if you had to say one of the things that's maybe the most dysregulating to maybe the masculine nervous system, a male nervous system versus a female nervous system, like between the two, what do you see the most?
I actually see the women leaning really heavily in their masculine side.
Okay.
So that's what I see when these women come in, because they're the CEO of their business, they're the CEO of their household, and so they're doing everything. And so they want to be able to drop into feminine. They don't know what that looks like. They're constantly outsourcing themselves to their kids, their business, their husband, all these things. It's like, what are you doing for yourself? And that's like the number one thing is like we have to take care of ourselves. It's the mask. Put on your mask first, and then everything else falls into place. But I believe as women, we've been conditioned that we must make sure everyone else is okay. At least that's how I was raised.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if that kind of answers your question.
That's a beautiful answer.
Yeah, it's like,
I would say a lot of women are definitely in that of where they're wearing all of the hats, and so that's part of that dysregulation. And then the inverse of that, at least for our male clients who are in a relationship, is they've almost been feminized by their masculine wives because they can't do anything right. If they do something with the kids, or if they try to help, they get cut down, shut down, all of those things, because she's so in her masculine and everything. It's this well-oiled ship, and he's like trying to help, but then he feels like he's getting lectured and like it's like he's a child in that. And so where can he step into his masculine when everything that he does is being criticized? Or so then they just pull back and they're just like, just tell me what you need me to do,
which then angers the feminine more. It's like a horrible infinity loop.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And honestly, who I hear in all of that is, I'm like, your kids are watching this dysregulated, dysfunctional like pattern, and then they're just going to perpetuate it. And nobody's happy, nobody feels good in their body, nobody's in like playful joy or anything. And so that's where I think we're starting to have that shift that's happening. But there needs to be almost more conversations that are not like couples therapy. It's more like honest, drop-in real conversations. And so that goes into a whole other area of work that we've gotten into in working with couples. But that, to answer your question with safety, nervous system, that's where I feel like we see there's just a lot happening there right now.
Yeah, I feel like too, it goes to the conversation I've been having with a lot of women in our lives, where like we want to have the work that is beautiful, we want to have our businesses, but we also don't want to hold it all. And that's where the conversation around like I want to be provided for is coming back up again. But there's all these constructs and ideas of what that means and how the man needs to be the one working again, and I'm like, that's not what we're saying. No. It's like, no, if we're also having this business, like we want to be able to go home and have someone who's like, I've got you. I've got you. Like so I think that's such a beautiful, like, you guys just get to see it in the body with the people that you're seeing. With those, and I think we'll end with this, but what would you say is one thing for those individuals that you just talked about that they need to start looking at first? Like you both talked about, like you're with the feminine a little bit, and you're kind of talking with the masculine. Yeah. I
mean, we battle this in our own relationship of like you being more in your feminine, and so I step up at my masculine, and there's a fluidity there that I don't think a lot of like, I don't want to just label like heterosexual like dynamics, because we all have that masculine and feminine, but if you're always internally as a single person in your masculine, like you gotta let go a little bit and flow and have fun and be in your feminine. And I think that it goes both ways, like being able in masculine or in feminine energy where maybe you aren't as directive or assertive or whatever, like in business and everything, like there's sometimes where you have to be the banks of the river, you have to be the structure so that you can flow and be in your feminine within it. And so I mean, it's taking care of you first. It's the oxygen mask, and sometimes it's easier said than done.
Always, most of the time. And that's the thing is, I think also like it's feeling safe to do that. And so what does that look like in your household? What does that look like in your business, in your friendships, your relationships? Like what does safety mean to you, and how can you get there? Because I know that, when things are going on with our teenager and I don't feel safe, and I find myself getting dysregulated, and then that impacts that and this. And so there's all these different things of like, okay, it's like having a morning routine, morning ritual where, I know for Hannah likes to get up early because no one's awake at that hour, and it gives Hannah time alone.
I understand that.
Totally. And so for me, it's literally waking up and just laying in my bed for the first 10 or 15 minutes just to be in my own energy. And like, so it's just finding ways. It's like really sitting down and what really like makes you feel good, and then start implementing those into a daily like morning routine that kind of sets you up for the day.
Yeah. So. And where can you be held and nourished and by people out? Like, it's, yes, you need to self-resource, but we can't do this alone.
No.
And so having people, like, I even think about you guys and I'm like, even if there comes a point where I am not making money, I'm going to fucking find a way to have your guys' sessions.
Well, that goes into, we have so many people that like and whether it's us or other body workers or whatever, sometimes finding the right person is a catalyst, and the trickle down effect in the rest of your life happens, because whether you're coming every week, which would be a dream, or every other week, or once a month, or, you know, we have a lot of people that see her once a month and me once a month. And it's like, they know in that 2 weeks between, like, we're going to check in with them because they'll tell us like, oh, I'm going to start doing this. And so it becomes this like accountability on the outside. So it's figuring out, yes, the morning routines and the people, but also like, it's okay to like go and get supported and be held by someone else, because you typically are holding so many other people, and like giving yourself that permission and that space and time, and then like booking your next appointment, because 3 months can go by and you're like, oh, I've been meaning to get in and go to a yoga class or go do this. And
I found the best thing with that too is to just book them all at the same time for like 90 days. I even do that with working out. I'm like, I'm putting them all on my calendar, because anytime you have to use energy to be like, oh, okay, let me sit down and whatever, schedule these out or book them out, it's just more friction for you to not be able to have the habit. Or if it's just scheduled, you don't have to think about it. It's not extra emotional labor, like all the things. And I feel like this conversation, the ones that we're having here too, it's really, we can't work in the way that we've been working and the models and systems and the ways of being. And as a feminine leader specifically, because that's mostly who we talk to, the going at it alone, the let me go until I break down, and then my nervous system is so dysregulated and I'm in burnout and I'm in all stress, which by the way is not what your body should normally be in. All those things, like, that is a very wounded masculine way of working. I'm not going to say masculine, because like the masculine should not be working that way either. No. And it's just an old, very like consumerist capitalist mindset that I'm like, we don't need to be doing that anymore. It's a construct that doesn't serve anybody. So how can you as a feminine leader go, okay, I'm going to create a little bit of safety, not too much, because then you're like hyper masculinized and that goes into control. How can I create a little bit of that in my body, in my emotions, in my energy, in my day-to-day, release some of that extra labor, and then be able to go, okay, well, I want to have more fun and more pleasure and all the things. So feminine sets the standard, masculine leads from men. I always say that. I always say
love that. I love it. So good.
Well, because even when you guys were talking about like the relationships, if you even said it, the woman in the relationship is like, oh, well, I need to step up and I need to do this. And then the man's like, okay, like kind of just, just, you know, like, you can't see me if you're listening to this, but they just kind of like lean back and they're like, just tell me what to do, which makes it worse. It's like, as the feminine in the relationship, if you can be like, actually, let's set this standard. The masculine's like, cool, I love that. You don't need to tell me what to do. That's not what I mean by setting the standard. It's just, here's how we're going to operate. Here's the power dynamic. Let's go. And then the masculine's like, okay, you're fun and free and flowing. I love this. So... oh my God, yeah, I love it. Is there any last thing you want to say before we close out? Because we got other episodes that we're going to have in this series. I'm so excited. Okay. Thank you so much, you guys. When you are ready to listen to these, we have a couple more coming out, and you can check out the links below. There's a Q&A form. There's links for Hannah and Darci, which are going to be amazing. Everything for Wildly Satisfied. And in the next couple episodes, we're going to be talking a little bit about human design, because they're human design nerds just like me, and feminine leadership and the new model that we're setting up, as well as you know, being fully embodied in your own energy and how you can really have a truly, I don't want to say regulated nervous system, but like a truly safe nervous system.
You can call it a bliss body.
I feel like, just so you guys know, I walked out of their, like the first sessions that I did with them, and I was like, it's bliss body. And I've just been calling it that. That's not even their business.
So great.
It's just, but when you just walk out and you're just like, oh my God, I feel like me, finally, and everything else that belongs to somebody else, it goes elsewhere. And so
beautiful.
I love that. All right. We will talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much for listening to this Wildly Satisfied production. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we would love it if you would share it with someone that you love, leave a review, or come tag us on social media at Wildly Satisfied.